North Korean leader Kim Jong-un said an elevated U.S. security partnership with South Korea and Japan poses a grave threat to his country and vowed to further bolster his nuclear weapons program, state media reported Sunday. According to Assosicted Press, in a speech marking the 77th founding anniversary of the Korean People's Army on Saturday, Kim said the U.S. Japan-South Korea trilateral security partnership established under a U.S. plot to form a NATO-like regional military bloc is inviting military imbalance on the Korean peninsula and raising a grave challenge to the security environment of our state, according to the official Korean Central News Agency. Referring to a series of new plans for rapidly bolstering all deterrence including nuclear forces, he clarified once again the unshakable policy of more highly developing the nuclear forces, KCNA said. Amid stalled diplomacy with the U.S. and South Korea in recent years, Kim has focused on enlarging and modernizing his arsenal of nuclear weapons. In response, the United States and South Korea have expanded their bilateral military exercises and trilateral training involving Japan. North Korea has lashed out at those drills, calling them rehearsals to invade the country. In his Saturday speech, Kim also reaffirmed that North Korea will invariably support and encourage the just cause of the Russian army and people to defend their sovereignty, security, and territorial integrity. Kim accused the U.S. of being behind the war machine which is stirring up the tragic situation of Ukraine. North Korea now marks two major army anniversaries. The February 8th anniversary has been revived in recent years. It is intended to mark the start of the North's conventional army in 1948. The other big military anniversary on April 25 marks a date when North Korea's official version of history says that former leader Kim Il-sung started a guerrilla force to fight Japanese occupation in 1932.
The new attack of the Ukrainian army on the occupiers' positions in the Kursk region resulted for Russia not only in losses on the battlefield, but also in internal squabbles among the military, Z-War correspondents and Kremlin propagandists. According to tradition, Kadyrov's legendary special forces Akhmat were again unable to take part in the fighting. The main spokesman for the Russian Federation on the Battle of Kursk, Major General Abdi Alodinov, explained in his usual manner why his fighters were not at the epicenter of events. As always, he made excuses, saying that Akhmat was there, but somehow it turned out that Ukrainian troops outflanked them. Of course, no one slept through the offensive, and overall, there were few of them there, and most importantly, all the complaints were directed at someone else. This story about the invisible battalion caused a wave of ridicule even among Russian war correspondents who have observed the magical blurring of Kadyrovites at the front more than once. The situation is painfully familiar. The elite TikTok fighters of the Kadyrovites are again not taking part in the battles, but the next Vankas from poor Russian regions are dying in the trenches. Alodinov has to come up with excuses to maintain the illusion that his troops are playing some role in the war. Well-known Z-War correspondent Alex Parker couldn't hold back his sarcasm and harshly ridiculed Akhmat's statements on his Telegram channel. He called them a circus and ridiculed the excuses about unnoticeable flanking. Recall armed forces of Ukraine attacked the Russian province of Kursk, informed the Ministry of Defense of Russia. The note specifies that the Ukrainian troops that attacked were up to 2 mechanized battalions with armored vehicles. According to the report, the Ukrainian attacks were repelled and the settlements are under control of Russian troops. August the 6th last year, Ukrainian troops launched an armed incursion into the Kursk province and occupied several areas, and since August the 9th, the region has been experiencing a federal emergency. The Kursk offensive, the first ground invasion of Russia by a foreign power since World War II, took Russia and Ukraine's allies by surprise when it was launched. Kiev's troops advanced quickly, though Russia eventually began to push their forces back. The line of control has not changed dramatically in recent months. If any nuclear power plant produces energy, then energy comes out of it that can be used to make it work. That is, it produces and uses electrical energy due to this electric motor, which drives water and cools the so-called active reactor zone, which is very hot. And if there is no cooling, the water in those pipes will boil, turn into steam, and then a thermal explosion of this working zone can occur. That is a complete repetition of what happened at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in 1986. Kochetov emphasized. He added that this would result in a huge release of radioactive materials and radioactive dust into the atmosphere, contaminating a very large area. This is what IAEA Director Rafael Grossi is actually talking about, that if the substations are attacked, then a potential situation could arise where one of our nuclear power plants will be deprived of power and there will be a threat of such an internal thermal explosion, but such a probability is low, Kochetov emphasized. Recall that the head of the IAEA, Rafael Grossi, stated that Russian shelling of the Ukrainian energy system could cause a nuclear accident. In particular, on his page in the social network X, he published photos in which he visits the Kievskaya substation together with the Minister of Energy, German Galushchenko. Earlier, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that the issue of liberating the Zaporizhia NPP would be raised at the first meeting with the Russian Federation. He also noted that during the occupation of the facility, Russia took hostage and threw behind bars 2 Ukrainian power engineers who worked at the Zaporizhia NPP. In addition, in early January, the IAEA reported explosions and machine gun fire near the Zaporizhia NPP. It is noted that the IAEA mission team, which is working at the Zaporizhia NPP, recorded 2 loud explosions outside the territory of the plant on January the 5th at approximately 12:45 and 15:45. The IAEA did not confirm the impact of these explosions. The team also reported that they repeatedly heard machine gun fire. The IAEA noted that there were no casualties or injuries as a result of the incident, and the power plant equipment was not damaged. An attack on any nuclear power plant is absolutely unacceptable. In light of the increased military activity near the Zaporizhia NPP, I again call for maximum restraint to prevent an obvious threat to its security, Grossi said. The agency noted that there were no casualties or injuries